It is the 140th edition of this podcast. It is a happy St. Patrick's Day podcast as well. Good friend of the show, Ryan Page, is with us to talk about the topical things that are trending right now. What's up, Ryan? Happy St. Patrick's Day to you.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Not much. Just enjoying the nice weather. The St. Patrick's Day, or really this whole week has been really cool. At least in Jersey, it's been nice and warm. Been able to go outside in the afternoons with like just a t-shirt on.
Yeah. Happy St. Patrick's Day for that. The first lucky thing that's taking place. And we're both wearing green for those watching. Yes. They can see, and those talking. So happy St. Patrick's Day. So I just want to say, Ryan, you have any good St. Patrick's Day memories throughout your years, whether through responsible shenanigans or in class? I don't know. In the Cranberry Elementary School, or St. Patrick's Day is more just an prime holiday between the ages of 20 and 35.
I mean, yeah, you go to a bar or whatever, but there's no specific like St. Patrick's Day memory for me I can think of. I mean, we've gone to, usually you go to an Irish pub with some friends and you know, that's how you spend St. Patrick's Day or St. Patrick's Day weekend if St. Patrick's Day is, on a work day.
Yes, it's a Thursday as we today.
Thursday,
so I guess
yeah.
it is.
So people do. I mean, people go out Thursday. People don't treat Friday like a real thing. So
a thirsty Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, nothing special though. Nothing like too crazy. I haven't gone to like, Boston or Ireland or something.
It's a national holiday in Boston, Massachusetts today.
It really is when you think about it, right?
Play the Dropkick Murphys.
The all day shipping out to Boston, all the way there.
Yeah. And this is a big day for also the Irish wrestlers too, you'd think, right?
I mean, maybe.
Finn Balor.
Honestly, I think that today is more for, like, the way we do it is more for Americans than the Irish. I don't think that the actual Irish treat their literal saint the way that we treat the day for their literal saint. So, I think it's a little different.
Would you say somewhat socially acceptable for people who take the day off? There are people who will drink all day tomorrow. Start at 6 a.m, go until midnight.
I mean, Friday. It's a Thursday. I don't think that's going to happen on Thursday. I really don't. Like, who takes, honestly, tweet at TweetCap or reach out to Matt in any way that you can. And, he's freaking everywhere now. What is it, like 6,000 downloads in like 10 days or whatever. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. We are ways to go, but you're right. We're going to continue to work on that, but this is a good start. And It's easy with people like you entertaining us.
Oh, thank you. But tell one of us, do you take St. Patrick's Day off? Is that something that people do where they're like, I don't want to work. I want to be free all day, no matter what day it is for St. Patrick's Day. Like, are there people who,
right?
Or are there people who like take the week off and they like, I have a week's vacation and I'm going to use it in like spring break on St. Patrick's Day? I mean, I don't know. I've never done that, but I'm just curious if that's like a real thing that people are doing now, or if like, again, I don't think Thursday people go crazy like that. I mean, college students do. They don't have anything to do.
Yeah, you know who invited me out? And I have to say I had to wait till Thursday. Good friend of this weekend I'm fine, but we have to work. Good friend of the show and fellow Irishman, Brian McKeon.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's
22.
He's younger than we are, and that's literally the point.
He came off
the point.
He came off of grad school spring break.
Are you guys going Staten Island or Jersey City?
No, I'm not going. I have to work.
Oh, okay.
I was saying if I did, if it was Friday, I'd consider, but
Thursday.
Maybe another time because it's Thursday.
Yeah. Well, the good news is for all of us who can't get out on a Thursday night because they have like 8:00 meetings or whatever. Usually the weekend after is treated with the same sort of. It's almost like Halloween.
Yeah,
Like
Halloween weekend is
Halloween,
just
like yeah, exactly. Physically, Halloween doesn't matter to most adults. It's just the weekend of Halloween, either right before or right after, depending on where
right.
Halloween falls. That's their holiday. So I feel like St. Patrick's Day, same basic thing. Like if you can't do St. Patrick's Day, most of the bars are still gonna have their corned beef and their Guinness, like $2 Guinness on Saturday.
And then
So
play
I
Dropkick
think
Murphys.
right,
And
yes,
U2.
yeah. I went to Ireland once and I asked if they liked U2 and they said no. So
oh, really?
yeah, so
Why?
I don't know. I'm gonna say they don't like that. He didn't give me a reason. He said like Creedence Clearwater Revival.
He said in an
He's
Irish
like
accent, no.
CCR. I mean, yeah, an accent. Because I was asking, I only asked the people at this one bar in this one place. So in fairness,
In
not a
Dublin?
big sample. No, not. I didn't even go to Dublin.
Belfast?
No, didn't go to Belfast either. Oh God, where
remember the Belfast Brawler?
Oh yeah. What is that, Finley?
Yeah.
No, so we went. This was in
He loves to fight.
Bantry. I believe this was in Bantry, which is
Bantry.
like small, a small little thing by the water, right? And we were staying in this nice hotel, but we went to like this really like small bar, like very local bar.
As local and Irish as it gets.
Yeah, and I honestly think a lot of like the girls in our group didn't go because of that. Because I remember the next time we went out with everybody was in a bigger city and they all got catcalled. And I don't remember that happening this time around. And I don't think it's because they were nicer there. I think it's because there was less of the women came. But
right.
I obviously didn't have that issue. So
no one's like, hey, do you want to Guinness, laddie?
Right, exactly. So I asked everyone in the bar, including the bartender, I remember her too, if they liked U2, and the overwhelming consensus of like all 5 people at the bar was no. Also though, the bartender was Polish, not Irish.
Irony.
So I don't know if that counts. So it might even be a sample size of 4.
Is Conor McGregor a national hero?
This was way before all that.
Or I guess Bono
we just talked
isn't.
about how old we are. Oh, I don't know. Apparently not in Bantry. I wonder if he did something wrong in Bantry or something. I don't know. Clearly not his hometown. But anyway, yeah. So there we go. That's our Irish talk. We have our green shirts. I talked about Ireland. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone.
Yes, we've all approved.
Thank God we got rid of those snakes.
So Ryan, first thing I want to talk about, which is turned into the rivalry of 2022, maybe the rivalry of the decade already. Pete Davidson versus Kanye West.
Oh, yeah.
What a saga this has turned to. When I say those 2 words, Ryan, Pete Davidson versus Kanye West, what comes to your mind?
I don't even know if versus is the right term. I don't know if I don't believe Pete Davidson is actively competing against Kanye West.
Even with the text that he sent about being in bed with your wife?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, Pete is... My thing is, he started off doing everything totally by the book, right? Obviously, Kanye, of course, didn't care. So I get that Pete is now leaning into this. I don't know how serious it is with him or how much he knows that regardless of what he says, Kanye is going to continue doing whatever Kanye wants to do about this. So he might as well get some laughs in. But I mean, the whole thing up until very recently, I would say, right? Like those most recent texts are, again, recent. But before then, he was like, I'm not going to be a father to your kids. Like, I'm not trying to wreck a family and all that stuff, right? And Kanye just did not care. And so I was like, I don't know if, especially early on, if Pete was even competing with Kanye. And more importantly, he's not competing with Kanye because Kim Kardashian has absolutely, there's no world in which Kim Kardashian sees everything Kanye is doing and says, yeah, actually, I made a mistake. I made a mistake leaving. I mean, unless it's like
a big quote right there.
Unless it's, oh my God, I've broken Kanye West. I have to get back with him for the safety of, everyone. Humanity? Maybe, yeah, for humanity's safety. What if he runs for president again? I have to stop him. So maybe she'll do something like that. But nothing about this is making Kanye look like a particularly chivalrous man, right?
Yeah, so you're not exactly pulling for him. He's like, man, I'm on Team Kanye. There are some weird people in the comments.
They're not on Team Kanye. Those people are not really on Team Kanye. I mean, listen, maybe
they just want the most liked comments.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. They just want people to react to them. Maybe some people genuinely are upset about Pete Davidson being with Kim Kardashian, but I frankly don't think that they care that Kanye West is with Kim Kardashian. They just don't like Pete Davidson with Kim Kardashian. So I
And
don't
he
know.
finds an exact replica of the woman. Like literally, like that's weird. That's really, really weird. And she has to know that's part of it. Oh, she just happened to fall in love. I look exactly like your ex-wife. Imagine how could somebody
But
date
they're
someone
not in
who's
love. They
well, I
know
mean,
they're not
yeah.
in love.
I mean,
Like
I
this
guess
is
she knows if knows this is for attention, then
hey, yeah,
yeah, okay.
you're dating Kanye West. Those dates have to be, if nothing else, those are interesting, right?
That they
If
found an
nothing else,
exact replica of the woman of Kim
no. So
Kardashian.
imagine you're her, right? So you're the woman that he takes on a date after Kim Kardashian. You go out to coffee or whatever, and I'm sure Kanye doesn't go out to coffee. I'm sure he does like something extravagant because he's got a lot of money,
Rent out
right?
Giant Stadium or a
Exactly.
Dodger Stadium or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just a single little table with a little single rose on it, but it's inside.
Yeah.
It's inside the LA Coliseum, just completely rented
That's
the
what
whole
Drake
space.
did.
Right. So like, you know, that has to be one of the most interesting conversations anyone's ever had. Right? Just you and Kanye. You're dating, so he trusts you at least a little bit. I mean, you know that.
Remember, this is Ye too. We're talking about.
Yeah, and so you know that at least half the conversation is going to be about what is he called? He's called some Skeet Davidson, right? That's
Skeet.
Yeah.
And that name's kind of sticking on. I see people actually calling him on Twitter and other videos Skeet Davidson.
But so like you see,
and he said, "Hey, it's Skeet here."
Yeah, I know. So like you see, like again, at least half the conversation is going to be about him, and that's fine. But you sift through all the Pete Davidson conversation, right? What else does he talk about? That's crazy to think about. What else goes through Kanye West's mind?
I don't know, make new music.
Well, no, I don't think he's actually, but I could see him just like the waiter drops like a glass and he just starts freestyling over it, and then he's like, "I need to write this down." And, I could see something like that happening. I could just again. So I think that whoever this woman is, she has to know that because she looks like Kim Kardashian, that's the only reason this is happening. And isn't she famous too? Isn't she a model? Or am I making that up?
So. Let me Google that really quick.
But yeah, so like while he's googling that, so like you know all this. You're her. You're a model. You know that Kanye is only looking at you because you look exactly like Kim Kardashian. But you get all this free stuff. You get these dates with Kanye West, and so I mean that you could write a whole book.
Yeah, just for the books.
You could write a whole book about what happened on your you have to have a good number of dates in order to make the book compelling. Be like, 50 first dates with Kanye West. I'd read that and be like, date 1, Kanye West only talked about his ex-wife and her new boyfriend.
I will say
2.5 hours.
So she's pretty interesting too. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your point.
No, you're good. Go for it.
Her name's Channy Jones.
Right.
She has 512,000 followers on YouTube, but her actual occupation, she is the COO of a company called First Date Behavioral Health. Her bio.
Wait, this is a different person. I'm thinking of a different person. Didn't he have someone who was a model or famous or something at one point?
There was Julia Fox, the actress,
but she doesn't look like Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, she's not.
Maybe I'm merging those two people together.
Yeah, this is as of today or of 2 days ago, unless he's dating someone else.
Julia Fox doesn't look like Kim Kardashian, so I must be taking the fame from the first girl, merging it with this current one. But even all right, especially in that case, especially if you're not famous, right? If you're not famous, you're just a normal person who met Kanye West. And again, you know what's happening, but I mean, you can write that book and you'll be set. It'll be kind of like Kim Kardashian. All it takes is that one thing to go viral. You had those dates with Kanye. It's gonna go viral. She's gonna get keeping up with the Joneses. That's already a phrase. It literally writes itself.
What's funny too? I really think Pete's fame right now is solely on just being Kim Kardashian's girlfriend. Well, he hasn't been in the past few episodes. I guess he's filming.
He's established himself.
He can take days off. He can take days off.
He's established himself. Yeah.
Like a NBA player. I'm not doing this week. Seriously, though, he wasn't there last week.
You could make this, I think, the legitimate argument that Pete Davidson's real fame started with Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
So you can make the genuine claim that the most famous Pete Davidson ever is when he's dating someone who's significantly more famous than him. I think you could make that genuine claim based off
people
of the
forget
fact that
he's
he
a
blew up.
comedian.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you don't watch SNL, who would know?
Yeah,
I guess someone saw King of Staten Island, so they would.
But yeah, you were saying how pretty much his ultimate fame and shows our obsession with celebrity relationships is when he's dating someone famous.
Well, but it's also because he's like 100 feet tall and doesn't look like, and I'm not 100 feet tall, so, but I'm not here to make fun of people's looks, because look at me. If you're on YouTube, you can see what I'm talking about. But he's a weird looking celebrity. He's not one of like the typical, like what you think of like the hot celebrities are for men or for women by anyone's standard. But he gets obviously these very, famous women who are both of them, Kim Kardashian and Ariana Grande, are both almost. That's not true, because Ariana Grande sings, but both of them are known for their sex appeal. Both of them
be famous for being famous.
Well, no, again, Ariana Grande.
Well, yeah, not Ariana Grande. Yeah. She actually talented.
But I'm saying both of them, like so Kim Kardashian, yeah, famous for being famous. But one of the defining characteristics of Kim Kardashian is her physical appearance. And Ariana Grande, very much the same way. Again, she's obviously she's known as someone who's very attractive. That's part of her presentation. You know what I mean? Even because there are some attractive singers, male and female, who it's not part of their presentation that they're considered attractive. Like they have another gimmick, or they have another. I mean, is Ed Sheeran attractive? I don't actually know. But
I've only heard people who are mean and criticizing him.
Yeah, but no, I know people who find him attractive, but they don't. That's not why people like Ed Sheeran. But I know people who find him attractive. He's in good shape, all that good stuff, right?
Yeah, perfect example. Ed Sheeran is a handsome man.
Perfect example. So his fame is not based on his looks at all. And I know, and again, I say that, and it's like mean to both. I mean, it's less mean to Kim Kardashian, because she'd probably agree with me a little bit. But Ariana Grande is a very talented singer. I'm just saying, like, part of her presentation to the world as a pop star is how she looks. You know what I mean? Like, she has, I think she has, doesn't she do like clothing advertising, and like she does some sort of perfume advertising and stuff too? Like, she's involved in that kind of world too, like fashion and looks and whatever. Whereas other singers who are, again, also like her, very talented singers, they just don't include that in their persona like she does. So both these people that he's dated now are known for being like very attractive. It's part of their identity as a celebrity. And Pete Davidson is getting that same treatment now without, being really attractive. It's kind of funny. He's tall. People do like tall people. I'm not tall, so, but I've seen
you're above average.
Not really. I'm like literally what average height is, but so yeah, I don't know. That's part of my thought, is like, maybe it's because he's tall. I don't know.
You want to know something? And this is
very
the
funny.
second time I happened to bring this up in the last 2 weeks. Next to being funny, but my roommate saw Pete Davidson once, like pre Ariana Grande, like he was just on SNL, which is enough of a flex to some girls. But he was with two other girls, apparently macking with them at a local bagel shop in New Jersey. So my theory is,
but those are locals, though.
True. And I guess he's relatively, obviously when you're just on SNL, I think that's already enough of a way to have somebody fall for you. And, but I'm just saying, obviously there was these locals compared to Kim Kardashian and Grande, Grammy winners. So I just feel he just likes attractive girls and always just shoots his shot, no matter what your fame level.
It could be.
That's my theory, at least.
He could just always go for it, and it works out for him. Yeah. I don't know. I don't honestly know, but it is bizarre. This whole feud is bizarre. The video of Kanye kidnapping Pete Davidson
with his head.
It's like, this is just very strange. We're
imagine being on the set for that. Like, so don't people go? People are gonna react to this, right?
We're making jokes because it's absurd, and when absurd things happen, it's funny. My only thing is, as absurd as it is real, at least to Kanye. Like, it was kind of what I was saying at the beginning before you mentioned, Pete Davidson. And maybe that's actually the biggest problem, is that Pete Davidson has officially started kind of like goading Kanye as opposed to saying nothing or being nice, right? But
he said, "I'm not being nice anymore" in a long text.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So like, and maybe that's part of the problem. And Pete Davidson has his own sort of struggles with fame and with his mental health in particular and the attention. So, I'm not saying anything, but I'm saying from the beginning, this has been real to Kanye West. From the very beginning, he's been genuinely upset about what's happening in a angry, like it not just upset either. He's been angry about what's happening.
Yeah.
And so that's what makes it less funny. That's when it gets not as funny, in my opinion. And I get it. Like Pete Davidson, a big star, Kanye West, big star, Kim Kardashian, big star, probably bigger than both. And that's not true. Kanye West is massive. Like, so I get it. They're big stars. They're never alone. They're never in private. So what are the chances that something really bad can actually happen to one of them? In particular, Pete and Kim. But at the same time, I mean, we've seen like Kanye West was willing to pay a lot of people to make a music video about or make a video about him kidnapping Pete Davidson.
What a heartbroken person. It's almost like all the fantasies that some people
but I'm saying,
have had.
So like he's willing to pay all of those people, and all those people, by the way, were willing to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
To make
crew
this,
and everyone.
Right. To make this video. What are other people? What else is he willing to pay for? Like, is he willing to pay for someone to intimidate Pete or Pete's, mom? Like, obviously, we don't know everyone's address, but we know the Davidsons are famously from Staten Island. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
right.
It's not going to be that hard to figure out if you go to Staten Island where the Davidsons are from. Everyone will probably tell you. Like, it's just it can get very dangerous. Like, it's funny because it's absurd, but it's so absurd that it's real right now. Like, it's so absurd that it's happening that it does have to give you pause. Like, what is going on? Why is this still happening after all this time? Because we've talked about this before. We talked about this on the 2021 recap episode of Productive Conversation podcast. It was
it's
not
continuing.
Right. It's not quite as serious at that time. It was more about a joke about Kim being with Pete Davidson than the whole Kanye beef. But like, this has been going on for a while now.
Yeah, like, this really is how you think. And this is the biggest.
Yeah, it's still going on since like the end of last year, and like it does seem to be escalating. Not like a lot, but it does. It's not simmering.
Hopefully, it doesn't turn into something madness.
Oh no, but I'm saying like it hasn't slowed down. It hasn't gotten less heated since we talked about it for the first time at the 2021 review show. So I don't know. It's a little nerve-wracking to see that this is still going on and how serious everybody, meaning the two people involved, are taking it. I think Twitter is not taking it seriously, which is good, because that's the only thing that would make it worse is if people on Twitter were genuinely taking sides. And I think most people on Twitter are not. And I think part of that is because everyone can see that, I mean, whatever Kim Kardashian was dealing with before she left Kanye probably was interesting. Probably wasn't fun,
to say the least.
Yeah. For her, and not even like, he was mean or abusive or anything. Just he clearly, he's all over the place. He's probably very hard to like. It's very hard to understand who you're going to talk to. Probably, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, and I have never met Kanye West. I'm just going off of the clues he's leaving very publicly on the internet. Like, it's probably very hard to know who you're going to talk to, what kind of mood that Kanye is going to be in. And, you're trying to raise kids with him. And I could just see that being not that he doesn't love his kids. It seems like he genuinely does, but I could see that being very difficult to do, I
guess that's just the price you pay when you're literally one of the most famous people in the world and all matched up, man. So one thing I wanted to talk about was that the Senate has all agreed unanimously. It's nice to see there's something.
Is it unanimous? I couldn't find the vote. Okay.
Literally unanimous, at least in the Senate, that they 100% agreed, both Democrats and Republicans. And I think a Republican initially introduced the bill, and they agreed to change daylight savings times and make it quote unquote permanent. Which I didn't even know the government decides daylight saving time.
Well, yeah. Who else would? The day doesn't. The hours don't change. It's just we move everything up or down. We still keep it at a 24-hour cycle. It's just for 1 day a year or 2 days a year, because you go back and forth. You just change the clock.
Yeah, and right here, Senate voted Tuesday to pass the Sunshine Protection Act, bill that makes daylight savings times permanent starting in 2023. And still waiting to see if Biden approves or disapproves the law.
The House gets to get in on it too.
And I guess there are legitimate quote unquote energy concerns from this, but I don't know. I don't know.
I don't understand it.
Allegedly, some of the things that would be noticed to change, you'd actually have summer nights end a little earlier instead of like peak summer where it doesn't get dark till about 9 o'clock. It would be 8 o'clock
toward the end of summer, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be kind of above there? Well, no, I don't know. That's a part of summer nights, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I should. Maybe I'm looking that too deep, but it's apparently a thing to
I don't
pay attention pay attention to, I guess. Daylight savings time, everybody.
Yeah. So you brought this up to me, which is not usually what happens when we talk about politics in one of our shows together.
Yeah.
So I decided to do a slightly different take since I knew you had me covered on the actual story. So I went to the comment section
on Twitter.
Yeah. I went to see Twitter's like the people commenting on the tweet from NPR announcing that this had passed the Senate. And boy, let me tell you, the amount, I know you made a joke like it's good that we can all come together on something, but somehow, even though the actual politicians who are doing most of the dividing came together on this, their camps didn't. I mean, someone was complaining, and this is true, that their kids have to wake up at 6:30 for 7 a.m. start to their day for school, right? And with the change from a lot of the year, 6:30 is going to be way before sunrise. It is always, by the way, currently it is before sunrise most of the time, but it'd be way before sunrise. Way before was the issue. Yeah. And I'm like, so what does it matter how long it takes? Someone's like, good luck driving in the dark home from work. I'm like, well, so upset. You do that. Like that already happens part of the year. And two, like if you're driving, you turn on your lights. Like it's not like no one drives in the dark ever. Like we're willing to drive to the dark to do anything else, but if we leave work late, we have to drive in the dark. And someone suggested there could be an issue if some states decide that obviously, they get rid of the savings time, but they want to continue working. Because right now, basically, we work in the day. We wake up, it's dark. We get to work, it's light. We work till it's dark again, and then we go home, which is horrible, by the way. And this would fix that a little bit. It would be a little bit lighter before work. Sometimes it'll be a little bit darker later, so you might actually get home from work. Other than the summer, which like right now in the summer, we do that. But in the winter, when it gets darker earlier, you still might be able to, what's it called? Get out of work before it gets too dark. But like, again, we already drive in the dark. And if this is going to give anybody just a little, I was talking about the states. Some people are like, what if they move like start times to stay aligned with the sun? So like, what if they're like, well, you usually have to be at work for 8 o'clock because it gets light at 8 o'clock. But now with the change, sometime in the year, it's going to get, light at 7 o'clock. So now you have to start at 7 o'clock or vice versa. If you end when it gets dark, so you usually get, in the winter it gets dark at 4, but it gets dark at 6 in the summertime. So now we have to, we work, 8 to 4 in the wintertime, and then we have to move it up 2 hours or an hour, whatever it is in the summertime. I'm like, one, we don't do that now. But two, that's basically the same thing as what we're doing now, but instead of doing it to the clocks, we're doing it to your schedule. Usually we say, okay, well, it's going to be an hour different. Instead of moving everything up or back an hour to follow the sun, we just change the clock and pretend that nothing changed. Like we do exactly the same thing that people are worried. People are like, we can't change it because what if we have to change our schedules? We already do that. We just change the clock along with our schedules. So it doesn't feel like we changed our schedule. Like it would still be no change into what we're doing now, but it would stop. I mean, I don't know. I'm of two minds of this, to be honest with you. I'm like thinking all this out loud. Number one, does it need to change? I read something. There's like health benefits to it changing, actually.
Wow, I didn't know this thing.
Something
I thought
about your metabolism.
More memes.
Something about like your metabolism Yeah, like being out in the sun. So having more time in the sun during certain times of the year or whatever. Like, again, there's something about sunlight and not being inside. I don't remember exactly because, frankly, this was like a really, a quick story for me. It wasn't the whole thing. But that someone did try to make the case, scientifically speaking, for why it could be beneficial. And like you said, there were energy concerns based on when people will be using stuff, right? And when people work. So, that was another concern that was had. But I don't think either of them, frankly, are all that strong a reason in either direction. I don't think this matters at all. And the fact that people were so up in arms about both sides of this was crazy to me. Like, this does not matter. If this gets vetoed or whatever, like, who cares? Really? I mean, other than it's the first bipartisan thing we've seen like in our lifetime, we should just pass it to say we passed it. Right. We should just pass it to say we passed it.
This is a huge accomplishment.
Right. They sat down and talked to each other. We should just pass it for that alone. They put in their best effort. They're on their best behavior. But I don't think this matters. Do you?
Not necessarily. I think it just shows that people need another reason for politics. And just one more political thing to check off here. We could go in a few minutes. So obviously you've heard of this thing known as the mask mandate, the vax mandate, the private sector vax mandate taking place in New York City. And so you have right now a big debate. You can't work in the private sector if you're not vax, causing Kyrie Irving in sports getting affected. Kyrie Irving can't play for the Nets because he's unvaxxed. And now this is transferring.
I don't know if you should say causing. Causing is a strong word. Okay, it does impact Kyrie Irving specifically, but he didn't cause him not to work. There was a very specific cause.
He chose not to work. He is preventing him. He's being prevented to play.
Prevent works.
And then now it's going to baseball. And it's going to, and this is going to connect to the next point after this, where if you're unvaxxed, you might not be able to play home games in New York City, which includes both the Yankees and Mets. And there's still players who aren't vaxxed. And there's rumors of major names, including Aaron Judge, the face of the Yankees. And some people think that Jacob deGrom isn't vaxxed. And these are because of direct questions. Are you vaxxed? And they both tiptoed around the questions. So
we learned from Aaron Rodgers what that means.
Yes. And I want to talk about him after this, but what do you think of just this rule? Do you think at some point now where we are seeing the infection rate go down, not saying the pandemic's over, but we are getting closer to what life was pre-pandemic, but now understanding that this is part of our lives. But do you think soon that it's going to be lifted and a heavy influence is because of how this affects New York City sports, particularly the Nets and the Yankees and Mets, whether they want to admit it or not, but they're not going to say the Yankees and Mets can now have their players have the vax mandates, or they won't do mask mandates. Our vax mandate is changed for specific professional athletes.
No, this will not change because of the Yankees or the Mets. It will change. Frankly, it's weird that because this is a new rule for the MLB.
Yeah, that's what and this law was passed. Yeah, it was passed from Mayor de Blasio. This specifically affected New York City. And
well, New York City has already lifted a bunch of stuff.
Yes, except this mask mandate, the private sector and we're just gonna see if they are gonna lift it. And will they lift it before the NBA playoffs in I don't know month and a half?
I mean, again, I don't believe that New York sports are going to have any impact on this because this is just for players. Fans can still go.
And that was one of the funny jokes is the Knicks, when you had the Knicks play the Nets this past weekend, you had Kyrie Irving go to the game, sit courtside, but he can't play.
Right, exactly. Makes absolutely no sense. And I'm not saying that, by the way, I'm not saying it in a way that I think that they shouldn't be, like, I do think everyone should get vaccinated. I think I've been pretty clear about that on your show, right? But at this point, we can't force people. We've never been able to force people, really. Like, we tried with we tried dangling people's jobs, worked a little bit, but you can never actually force somebody to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So again, these people like who don't get vaccinated, like Kyrie Irving specifically, you just said, went to the game anyway.
Yeah.
So who are we saving? Who's getting saved by doing this? Everyone else on the team who's playing is vaccinated. Everyone else who wasn't playing was still there sitting courtside. So what, I mean, yes, the locker room had less exposure to potential COVID, but at this point, we're not making teachers protect their kids. You don't have to wear a mask. I don't believe you have to be vaccinated to be a teacher. I could be wrong about that. You probably know more than I do. So if you like, we don't care if kids get it. I don't think all the nurses are getting it, like all the nurses and health professionals. So no one's getting it anymore. Not no one, but we're not. No, the numbers are going down without the number of vaccinations going up. At this point, let's just move on. Like, I don't understand why the rule is in place. It's not protecting anyone.
Literally.
It's not hurting me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't actually care that Kyrie Irving doesn't get to play basketball or that Aaron Judge doesn't get to play. Like, I don't care at all. And I know you said DeGrom, so I don't want to just be mean. I'm a Mets fan. I don't care if Jason.
And by the way, those the just to be clear, the Judge and DeGrom is a confirmed rumor, but
right. So let's say it's true. I don't care if DeGrom doesn't ever play baseball again. That's really not my concern. I'm just saying there's no reason for the rule. Like, there's nothing there in terms of like. So right. If there's no reason for it, if it's serving absolutely no purpose in keeping anybody safe, then why are you doing it? And like you said, is this going to change it? No. What's going to change it is enough people. I mean, listen. I think everyone who's heard your podcast kind of knows a little bit about what I believe and how I believe it. If people like me are saying there's no reason for this and it's silly, like the results of doing it over and over again, when even people like me are like, hey, listen, not for nothing, this is a dumb idea, are going to be disastrous for the people in charge. So the people in charge are going to change it based solely on the fact that it's a bad thing for them to do. And that's what's going to be. No one cares about the sports team, especially not baseball, by the way. Seriously, I mean,
except the diehard fans, of course. And
but whatever. That no one's coming to see. I mean, someone might come to see Yankee Stadium. They're not going to see a game. They don't care about seeing the Yankees. Like, if you're a tourist, you might want to be like, oh, Yankee Stadium, New York Yankees. You know, like, I'm saying Yankees because I'm a Mets fan, but the Yankees are definitely more like New York. You know what I mean? You think of New York, if you want to see a baseball stadium in New York, you go to Yankee Stadium. So like, yeah, they'll go to the stadium and like take a picture, but they don't care about seeing the game. Maybe someone will pick up a ticket if it's cheap enough. But no one's going to be like, I want to go see a baseball game at Yankee Stadium. And again, unless they're already a diehard Yankees fan. And frankly, if you're a diehard Yankees fan, you don't, or a diehard baseball fan, even like, you know, let's say you just want to see a game at every stadium, right? You don't care if Aaron Judge is not playing. You just don't.
Unless you go to the game and you like, that's your day to go and you need them to do well, you know, I mean,
well, no. So yes, you want them to win and therefore you want to see Aaron Judge play. No, that's different.
But yes, the casual person, not necessarily.
But even I'm saying, again, the economics would only be impacted if the diehard fans and the tourists stopped coming. Most tourists
are not protesting. Even going in. No, it's funny. There was a small amount of people who really would protest in front of Barclays Center for Kyrie Irving. I mean,
that's fine, but they're still huge fans, and they'll still like. You're a Yankees fan. Yeah, of course you want Aaron Judge to play. You want to win. He's one of their best players, but you're still gonna watch the Yankees. If you find out Aaron Judge is not playing
for the uniform,
it's like, you know what I mean. It's like the same thing when, you know, I used to watch like Michael Pelfrey and Tom Glavine pitch all the time for the Mets. They're not, you know. I wasn't getting to see Pedro or Harvey or, you know what I mean? Right. But whatever. Like, you went to a Met game. I wasn't there to see, you know, Pedro Martinez pitch.
Yes.
It's great. When I saw it, it was super cool. Johan Santana, another one. Also, when I got to see him pitch. But if I went to the game and Michael Pelfrey was the pitcher, I didn't care.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Because I'm a fan of the team. I wanted to see the team play. It doesn't matter. So, again, I know it's a little different because you expect to be a pitcher rotation. You're not expecting a rotation, you know, in the outfield or at first base or any of those positions. But still, if your first baseman is hurt, you're not going to sell your ticket. You know, you have a ticket and the shortstop gets hurt the game before. You're not saying, well, I'm not going to go see it because that's my favorite player and he's not playing. Like, you go to the game. It's your favorite baseball team. What are you doing? Like, so who cares if your favorite player or the best player is not playing? If you bought tickets to the game, you're still going to go to the game. And frankly, I would say if you didn't buy tickets to the game and you knew that Aaron Judge wasn't going to play all season, if you're a real Yankees fan, you're still going to eventually buy tickets to go see the Yankees play. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, you just are, because your friend's going to say, hey, let's do tailgate, go see the Yankees. And you're going to say, sure, because you don't really care. Like, yeah, you want the Yankees to win and you like the player, but if the player retired tomorrow, you wouldn't stop being a Yankees fan. So I don't think, again, no one cares about the sports teams like that, especially not baseball. But more importantly, it is a silly rule, and I think they're going to get rid of it because it doesn't make any sense. And all it does is give people, frankly, bad faith actors in a lot of senses, but it gives people ammunition to criticize things that were done in the past with the genuine concern for people in mind. If you continue to do these things without anyone's genuine concern in mind, there's no genuine concern for the safety of the basketball players if someone that was not allowed to play because they're unvaccinated is allowed to sit next to them at the same game they're not allowed to play in. Also, that same person can fly out to Texas the next night and play with them. It's just New York. So you're not stopping any spread. You're not changing anything. So it doesn't do anything. There's no reason for it in terms of like stopping the spread or keeping people safe. And so at this point, we just have to hope that everyone who's wants to be or needs to be is vaccinated, and that we have the treatments now for people who do get sick. And we have, hopefully we're getting more doctors and nurses, and we're better supplying our hospitals in case there ever is another surge. But that's all we can do at this point, is just move forward. If there's another surge, we have treatments now. Hopefully we have enough doctors. But stopping people from playing sports in the city specifically, and only in the city, does absolutely nothing to help anybody. It just gives the people who were angry about the things that were done more ammunition to get more people angry in a bad faith way. And I think that's harmful, because you're not helping anyone. So, and you're making people angry. So there's no net benefit to anybody involved.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty obvious what they're going to do from here on out. And speaking of athletes who were immunized or not immunized, but Aaron Rodgers, 4 more years, Ryan, 4 more years of conversations about Aaron Rodgers, Ryan, is going to continue. It also just shows the difference. It's strongly implied that Aaron Judge, he doesn't get vaxxed. Oh, it's okay, Aaron. We like you enough. You can take your time with it. But then reckon I know he lied about it. But or if you want to go semantics, did he really lie? But yeah. Aaron Rodgers, like he doesn't get vaxxed. Death to Aaron Rodgers. Hate you. I hope your career ends. You're the worst person to ever live. Doesn't this show how funny different dynamics are in this world and how selective we are in liking people in general, whether an athlete or whatever?
So I think the difference right now, I do think there's some key differences you're missing. I don't think anyone was mad at Aaron Rodgers for not being vaccinated. Not really. I mean, his teammates probably should have been. I should say that.
Or not nobody, because there's always people. Joe Rogan.
Right. Well, no, there's always people who get offended about everything. So excluding them from this conversation, because you have to. Aaron Rodgers got caught in a lie. He did. He got caught in a lie. I know semantics. He said I was immunized, and he explained all the different ways he was immunized without getting immunized. I get it. I do understand. So for those of you who listen, I know some people who listen to the show who disagree with what I'm saying right now. That's why I'm saying this. Like, I get it. I understand what you're saying. But let's call it what it is. Everyone assumed he was vaccinated. You can say that was on us, but he let everyone assume. He let everyone assume that he was vaccinated, and he wasn't. And that's okay. People made a joke about it because then he got COVID, and it is funny. Not funny because COVID is very serious, but it's funny when someone pretends to be vaccinated and then isn't vaccinated and then gets sick. You're like, well, serves you right in a way. Like, it's morbid and it's horrible, but I can see why the internet in particular would do that. Mm-hmm. But then he kept doubling down. He kept talking about the fact that he was immunized. That was number one. He kept talking about all the ways that the vaccine, then he started becoming vaccine skeptical out of nowhere. Because he was never,
I don't believe.
Even when he got sick, he wasn't like vaccine skeptical. He was just like, I didn't take it. And then all of a sudden, I didn't take it because they never work. Or I don't take it because I'm worried about fertility. Like, all this stuff just came out of nowhere. Then he jumped on Joe Rogan's podcast. And Joe Rogan was
not
already
his podcast, but he just said he was friends with him.
Well, he went on the show, didn't he?
No, I don't think so.
I thought he did, but even still, yeah. Well, but he did say, but he did the whole thing. It was right after Joe Rogan got in trouble for
He said
his followers.
I got
I listened to Joe Rogan, right? Yeah, so he definitely did that, even if he wasn't on the show. But I thought he went on the show to explain himself. I really did. I know
he did on Pat McAfee.
I know he's on Pat McAfee, but I thought he went on the Joe Rogan show after that too. But again, he just kept doubling down. And I think that's what made people upset because I know I didn't care that he wasn't. I mean, I thought it was stupid that he wasn't vaccinated. I thought it was wrong that he let everyone believe he was vaccinated when he wasn't, right? But he wasn't. He's not the only player in the NFL who wasn't vaccinated. He's not the only player, probably not the only player on his team that wasn't vaccinated. He just happened to get sick, and that's why he got caught. And then he did the whole thing about, if I make it to the Super Bowl, I'm not going to play in protest. He had that whole little bit for a while. I don't know if you remember that.
Well, that was a joke that somebody said.
But no, I thought,
no, he didn't. He wasn't actually going.
No, he didn't. But I'm people that got a
lot. Oh, they assumed.
Yeah,
that
got a lot of traction.
I'm going.
That got a lot, but it got a lot of traction.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, but it got a lot of traction. And so now you're on Twitter, you see all this other stuff, and then you see that on top of it, all of a sudden he's going to boycott the Super Bowl. And again, half of it wasn't even true, and most of it, even the true stuff, was based on one tiny fib. But he just kept doubling down. The internet kept spiraling the story because he kept doubling down, and that's why most people hated him. You know what I mean? And they don't even hate him, by the way, but that's why people are rooting against him.
Yeah, and they have a reaction, and you get 4 more years of him signed a huge contract, which he first denied that he just signed a contract. He first denied that he signed a contract, the amount of money, only for the money to actually come out, about a $250 million contract.
Yeah, it's a big contract. And again, I don't know why he lied about I think now he's just doing it to be angry.
Yeah, frankly. It's funny how he's now testing everything, everything about him.
Everything is a fight now. With Aaron Rodgers, which whatever. I mean, I don't know. He lost his girlfriend over that. I thought he would calm down after that, to be honest with you, or fiance. I think they're engaged.
Shenanigans Woodley.
Shailene or Shailene Woodley.
Yeah.
I thought that would honestly calm this whole thing down. He'd be like, "Oh, I should really stop picking a fight with the entire internet." But again, also though, with COVID going away, realistically, maybe next year, but 2 years from now, halfway through the 4-year contract, no one's gonna care about this.
Yeah, they'll just care about him actually winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, no one. I mean, Green Bay already probably doesn't care about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, clearly not. They broke the bank for him.
I meant the fans. I don't mean the team.
Oh yeah.
The fans, maybe even the fans who felt hurt or upset.
You win for the fan base, right? They won't care.
Right. They've moved on. COVID is not the problem it was in the NFL anymore, and it's fine. I mean, so the only way this could be bad for him is if he continues to fight about every little thing for the next 4 years, which frankly, it seems like he's willing to do. But I don't think he needs to. I think if he just plays football for a year, again, next year might be rough. He might have to take a few jokes, right? But after next year, halfway through next year, especially if they're in the playoffs next year, again, no one's gonna care.
Yeah, he'll just go on.
I'm more surprised that Tom Brady ruined someone's day.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. Literally, was gonna ask you next. The other quarterback, the other quarterback that loves to get us talking about him, Tom Brady, announces after just 39 days of retirement that he's coming back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with funny storylines. For once, he announced it on March Madness Selection Sunday, so that was the biggest news story in sports. Then you have the hilarious story about a bidder spending, I think it was $524,000 for his last ever touchdown in the NFL, only for that ball to be obsolete. That's technically it. Anything could change, but he is. I am pretty sure he'll have at least
unless he throws a
touchdown.
Exactly. Unless he never throws another touchdown, in which case, why is he doing this? But that's crazy to me. Someone spent a lot of money for a Wilson football.
You have the former last touchdown pass.
What's gonna be crazy is it will eventually get expensive again. in like
as an
100
infamous
years.
as the infamous football
Right
that
now
was.
it's worth nothing, and then eventually they'll be like, this is the football that was supposed to be the football that was the last football Tom Brady threw before he retired, and then he unretired, making it worthless. And now Tom Brady's grandkids will be dead, and they'll be like, this football is actually worth a ton of money because remember that whole crazy deal. So it'll be worth something eventually, but in the short term, the guy or girl, I don't know who bought it, got absolutely hosed on that one. Courtesy of Tom Brady. So if they're a Tom Brady fan, they're probably not a Tom Brady fan.
They're an Aaron Rodgers fan instead.
Yeah,
so
now they're Aaron Rodgers fan.
With this though, do you think Tom Brady's just pushing his luck at this point? Now he's going to be a 43-year-old quarterback. Reckon he did have an MVP caliber season again. Do you think just keep playing until you decline? You support that?
I mean, no, I think frankly should have gone out on the win, but he didn't. And frankly, he probably didn't know he was going to lose next year.
Right.
And he might genuinely be looking to go out on a win, and he thinks that he can still do it.
He's the Undertaker of the NFL.
Yeah, he might genuinely.
He literally is.
He might have. He missed his real opportunity to go out, which was when he won that Super Bowl, surprising everyone. The whole Tampa Brady thing. And so I think he's going to keep trying to see if he can't capture one more ending,
like the Undertaker. It's good.
Yeah, exactly.
They have to continue the doc now.
Yeah,
they have to continue Man in the Arena.
Yeah, exactly.
They had a whole finale episode only to do it again.
So, which is very similar to The Last Ride, by the way. The Undertaker documentary.
Have to keep going and
they had to keep going. So, yeah, no, I think he just wants this perfect ending, and he had it. And I think he knew that. I don't. Everyone said he would never considering retiring. I don't think that's true. I think I think he genuinely probably thought about it. But then I think he genuinely thought about, well, I can do it again. And he didn't believe he was done. And so that's why he was like, let me do one more season. Let's do it again. And then I'll leave. But then he didn't do it again. So now he has to decide, okay, I wanted one more season. I got it. I didn't win. Do I just I had one more season. Do I leave now? Or do I go for another season and see if I can't get that win? So, I mean, each year he's going to get further and further away from that perfect win, you would think, but I don't know. You never know. But yeah, I think as soon as he wins, he's going to retire.
Hear that. And also another person who's likely coming out of retirement, and as we record on his special day 316.
Oh, yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. This time, he didn't wait 3 months. He waited 19 years. Yes. But Stone Cold Steve Austin, he has a new beer out. He's kicking ass.
The Broken Skull IPA.
Yeah, wait. First of all, is that new? Because I know for a fact I've drank a Stone Cold beer. But is this like something else or something? Or new to the public?
It's definitely new to public.
Really?
See if I can't find it. Yeah, because they did a whole bunch of advertising for it.
Because I could show. I'll show you this picture from the summer, and I'm willing to go deep in my memories because I had this beer, shared it with an old friend, a girl from my past. And I specifically bought these beers because they like Stone Cold Steve Austin too.
Broken Skull American Lager. So it's probably slightly
not different. The IPA, because I'm pretty sure I have the craft. I'm looking.
El Segundo Brewing Company, Steve Austin's Broken Skull American Lager, which is probably, again, way less niche. It's probably way more like, American Lager. It's probably something that more people would drink. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so, in case you wanted to know. Yeah, but I'm reading his tweet right now. The hell yeah, Broken Skull American Lager available today, Austin 316 day. March has a lot of those. We had Pi Day just recently.
Yes, Pi Day on Tuesday, St. Patrick's Day today. The third
this whole
week
week
of March is an
underrated.
Week. Yeah, it's an underrated week.
It's the patron week for wrestling fans, the Irish, math teachers. Like, there's a lot going on. Bakers. Yeah, Pi Day is kind of multifaceted like that. But no, this is a big week in March here.
Yeah, and then March Madness kicks off too. What a time!
Not really a holiday. But
2 years ago was completely different, but now we are really lucky to be in a world where we can just. This was the biggest story, not 2 years ago. Multiple stories.
In fairness, there's the big stories are always happening. We're ignoring them because they're sad.
Yes, exactly. But Stone Cold Steve Austin, what other thoughts and things you have on this big day? And are you ready for his, let's be real, his return squash match?
I don't think it's gonna be a squash. I really don't.
With him and Kevin Owens, you think it'll be 10? How about over under 10 minutes? Do you think that?
Jesus. Over under 10 minutes. All right, here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say under. But before you judge me, my favorite match from my childhood, and I remember you were at my birthday party when we watched it. That was WrestleMania 22, Randy Orton, Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio for the World Heavyweight Championship, right? That was, and I just recently checked this, by the way. That was 9 minutes long. 9 minutes. That's it. That my favorite match from like that entire show. One of the staples of like my childhood. When I think about wrestling, I think about that match with those three wrestlers, and literally it was 9 minutes and like a little change, because they got shortchanged because Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, and Vince McMahon went forever and just kicked the crap out of each other in that street fight, which also you were at my house to watch. So
what a moment!
Yeah, so like
this trash can in the head.
9 minutes, they were able to put on a really good show. Now, I'm not saying Steve Austin can do
F52.
Yeah, any of that, but Kevin Owens can, first of all. And second of all, it's not gonna be a real match. They're just gonna hit each other a bunch. But I do think so. Kevin Owens, in the build to this whole thing, he started by making fun of Texas. That was his whole thing. That was his look how silly Texas is. Because he's Canadian, so it's even worse because he's not American. And so Steve Austin's going to come out. They're going to do the little show, and he's going to try and do his thing. He's going to go, what? Do all of his other signature phrases. Then they're going to hit each other. They're going to fight around for a while. Kevin Owens might even get the advantage, maybe with the help from Seth Rollins. Who knows? And then, and this is true, I think a bunch of other Texans are going to come out.
This is the big Texas.
Yeah, I'm thinking JBL
of wrestling Texas.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I don't mean like
Matthew McConaughey's not coming out.
No,
or
Matthew
maybe
McConaughey. Yeah, Matthew McConaughey's not gonna. Although I think he's actually a wrestling fan, so who knows? But no, I don't think Matthew McConaughey is gonna clothesline Kevin Owens. But JBL, Booker T. There's got to be more people I'm missing. But like Undertaker could work in that spot too if they wanted to.
The biggest revenge for Texas.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, it's going to be a big old Texas thing, and they're all going to come out and they're all going to beat them up for Texas.
Bring the Texas Bull from University of Texas.
Yeah, TCU Longhorn, or the Texas University Longhorn. TCU.
Mark Henry could be another one, and
Mark Henry has a job, so it can't be him.
Shawn Michaels
works, right? Yeah. So all these people are going to come out and beat up
Paul
Kevin
London.
Owens. Yeah, it probably won't be Paul London. I'm going to be honest with you. It probably won't be Paul London. I'd be very surprised if they're like, we're going to have Shawn Michaels, we're going to have Booker T, and you know what? For fun, let's do Paul London. Remember him? He was fun. So, no, they're all going to come out. They're all going to beat up Kevin Owens and maybe Seth Rollins, if Seth's out there. And then Stunner, they all do the beer bath. Probably with the new American lager that he just released. You got to get that product placement.
That's what the promotion for a beer.
So I'm going to say the physical fighting between the two of them is going to be under 10 minutes. I think overall with the entrances and with the beer bath at the end, we'll be over 10 minutes.
By the way, Ryan, wait. Jerry Jones will come out as the owner of the Cowboys? Give him a right hand? It is in a stadium.
I don't know. I mean, I would say no. They have enough.
Elliott.
Here's the thing: if this was a place where they didn't
Tony
have,
Romo.
I mean, again, we named 3 really, really famous WWE wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
If they were in a place that didn't have that, that didn't have home state heroes, then maybe you get like the owner of the stadium. But I think that there's enough home state heroes that know what they're doing.
Yeah, bring Tony Romo out.
But yeah, I tell you what, I would actually love to have seen Kevin Owens versus Tony Romo.
Speaking of celebrity crossovers, did you see that Sami Zayn showed up to the Jackass premiere?
Yeah. Did you see that? Obviously, listen, I'm assuming this is not real. They've been playing it up on social media, by the way.
Yeah.
But he got the plane with Sami Zayn's phone number on it and flew it over and put it on Twitter.
Really? I didn't see that.
Johnny Knoxville did a video in which he had a plane. He bought a plane that flew across some park in front of all these people, and it had Sami Zayn's phone number on it.
He just
and since
called
then, and again, most of this can't be real, by the way, but Sami Zayn has been posting videos and pictures of people calling and FaceTiming him to social media. Again, I'm thinking this is all fake.
It's a Google number.
Yeah. Right, exactly. It's a number that they came up with specifically to do this bit, I assume. But it's just been very funny. The bit's been very funny because it started at the Jackass premiere. He bought a plane to drag a banner across the sky with this phone number on it. And then Sami Zayn has been responding to people on this phone, apparently, and posting pictures of it on social media. So it's very funny. The whole thing is very funny. And I'm glad the IC title's off of him because now that there's no chance that Johnny Knoxville can be Intercontinental Champion, this is very funny. It would have been very scary if this was for the title, but now that it's not, I'm all for it. This is the best celebrity. This is frankly probably be better than Pat McAfee and Austin Theory at this point.
And then Logan Paul and what about Logan Paul and
everything's gonna be better than that. So
Logan Paul. Wait, why am I blanking? The Miz and Logan Paul versus Mysterios with Bad Bunny coming out.
No, it doesn't matter.
And then
Bad Bunny's not
anything else? And then
we'll do one of these shows. We don't want to keep going with the wrestling.
We'll have the preview there, but just for the celebrity parts that everybody's heard of.
Well, in fairness, like I said, the Sami Zayn thing has gone a little bit viral because of the pictures and because obviously Johnny Knoxville. So people who are seeing Johnny Knoxville tweet about this guy named Sami Zayn, that's what it's in reference to. It's not like Billy. It's not like Billy Zayn's brother. It's not like a movie feud. It's a professional wrestling feud. So twice as absurd. But yeah,
and never a dull moment. Funny.
Never a dull moment. Happy 316 day to all of you who celebrate with an American lager from El Segundo. That's the name of the brewing company, by the way.
Have you seen any movies lately? Anything good? Just curious.
I saw The Batman.
Oh, without spoilers, is Robert Pattinson up for Best Batman? I've seen some articles, really, or Best Bruce Wayne.
No.
Could you see why people are saying that?
Yeah, I could, and I thought the Batman part was really interesting. I want, again, not giving too much away. I will say this Batman, by virtue of the actor who's playing this Batman, is much younger than the Batman you're used to. It is a young Batman.
And I heard it's only his second year.
Right. So they don't pretend. Fighting. Yeah, they don't pretend that he's old. Because I was worried they were going to just be like Robert Pattinson, but he's old now. No, they understand that Robert Pattinson's like 34 years old, and they just make Batman 34 years old.
This is the universe before we do the big crossover of the living Batman.
Right. So
the multiverse.
The Batman's in the multiverse. But so this is a young Batman. So that's cool. Like to have Batman not be as like polished as some of the other Batmans, like having a Batman who has done this over and over
bazillionaire
again. He's still a bazillionaire.
Or a more pretentious, a less pretentious one. If that makes sense.
The pretension isn't. The difference is, so when Christian Bale played Batman had been doing this a long time.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we actually, in fairness, we had a whole movie about Batman's origins. But like in The Dark Knight, which is what everybody kind of thinks about when they think about Christian Bale as Batman had been doing it a long time.
Yeah.
Like that was the whole point. Like this Harvey Dent guy had come in finally and was doing it legit. And that's why Batman was like, I want to get out because I've been doing this for a long time. And now someone's taking care of it legit. And I don't want to have to keep doing this in the shadows anymore. That was like Batman's whole MO was I can finally retire because somebody is stepping up to the plate and doing what I can't do without the mask. That's the whole premise of the entire series.
And
this is not that. Yeah, in the Nolan ones, exactly. This is not that. He's brand new to this. He's still angry as hell about his parents. Angry about everything, really. He's a very angry Batman. So that's cool. And it's a different take. We don't see that a lot. A lot of times, live action Batman, we see an older white dude playing a billionaire because that's what billionaires look like in real life, in fairness. And that's what you see. But this is definitely, he's a young Batman. He's a little bit more impulsive. He also does a little bit more detective stuff. He's a little less just punching people. He has to figure some stuff out in this one, which is interesting. Again, not something you see in a lot of the live action Batman, but the Bale one, the Bale movies are still better. The Nolan movies, I shouldn't call them the Bale movies. The Nolan movies are still better. But there's also 3 of them. So the story feels more complete because it is more complete. There was 3 of them. If
Yeah,
Robert Pattinson gets 3 movies, it might very well be like, yeah, once you put them all together and you watch the whole story. But it's kind of like saying, I read this really good book. It was really good. I read the first chapter of a book. It'd be very hard for the first chapter of a book to be better than the whole book. And I don't believe that this new Batman is inherently better or worse. They could easily screw it up. There was a lot of things I didn't like about the new Batman movie, and I won't get into that because there are spoilers at that point.
Okay. Once I see they're gonna release on HBO Max in the middle of April.
Yeah.
I'll have it the latest then.
We talk about it. I was a big fan of Batman. Rocky. Huge Batman.
Oh, I might ask to bring him on for that.
So
I'll let him tell that story.
Like, I mean, like the animated ones too, like all of it. Like he knows
from
all about
Batman Begins. He has
Batman Begins, Batman Beyond. Remember that one? Remember that when we were
Batman
kids?
Beyond.
Yeah,
those are really dark for a kids show. They really
he watches all of those. He knows all about those. So he might even have I'm sure it'll be a different take than me, but he probably has a genuine like opinion on this too. But I do think there was anyone who saw it probably already knows what I'm talking about, which is what's great. If you saw the Batman movie, you know exactly what I thought was dog trash.
Okay.
And that's all I'm going to say. But there was one really big problem, in my opinion, and it wasn't anyone's fault, by the way. Well, it was the writer's fault, frankly. It wasn't any of the actors' fault. I'm not insulting any actor. I think every actor played all of their parts exactly as they were asked to play them. And how they were written to be played. I think they just wrote one of the bigger characters, totally wrong. All right. And it ruins a bit of the movie.
We'll definitely be on the lookout for that. And and also Something in the Way has the Nirvana song. It's got some big uptakes. Yeah. Is it blatantly obvious? Is this a Kurt Cobain metaphor?
I mean, this is definitely angsty Batman.
Okay.
This Batman hates. This Batman's mad at his. Well, he's not mad. Well, actually, I can't. I almost made a joke and ruined part of the movie by accident. So I'm gonna stop.
Okay, cool.
This is an angsty Batman.
You'll notice the different the correlation between Batman and Kurt Cobain.
Yes,
that's an interesting take on the character.
Kurt Cobain is equally fed up with everyone as Batman is. In this iteration of Batman.
All right, and you know what's cool? Also, just to keep with the superheroes. So they released. So this week you could buy Spider-Man: Far From Home. Mm-hmm. It's Far From Home, right? The
No Way Home is
No Way Home. Sorry, that was the first one. So Spider-Man No Way Home. And obviously, if you don't know it, I don't give the spoiler. You see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield as if that wasn't going to happen. But
right, yeah. Oh, no.
They started releasing the clips now. And I was just that big scene with the 3 of them. They say, like, who are the Avengers, they asked.
Yeah.
You know what was funny when he mentioned, I don't want to brag, but I'm going to brag. I was in the Avengers. Who was that? A heavy metal band?
It's true. There was no Avengers in Sam Raimi or the other guy. Who did the other Spider-Man?
Mark Webb.
Yeah, whatever.
Exactly.
We'll call it Andrew Garfield Spider-Man for that one. And Sam Raimi Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, and then the Marvel Spider-Man. That's what we'll call him.
And what was hilarious about that?
Did you hear that they might make? Did you hear that Sony might genuinely try and revive Andrew Garfield Spider-Man?
Why do they have to even it out to get the third one?
No, I think it's a good idea. I think he should be an old Spider-Man who's training a new Spider-Man. It could be a way to get a new character in, and that way you can free up Peter Parker to keep showing up in Marvel, and everybody makes money.
I did see that they were considering that. Hey, if it's good, it's good. At this point, we've all agreed as viewers we could see many different versions and universes of characters. So Michael Keaton's coming back while this is
I saw that too. What is that about? I didn't read into it, but I saw it.
I thought it was a Flash that he's gonna be involved with the Flash movie.
The Flash movie, yeah. Like that's crazy, right?
So we just agreed that we're just watching different versions.
Yeah. I also heard that the TV Flash is going to be at least a brief appearance in the movie.
See, there we go. That really does create. There's a whole.
But that's the thing too. It's like so you have like these TV shows that are just being treated totally separate on DC side from the movies.
just this is completely different.
There's no. I mean, not to get too into it. The DC like TV shows don't have Batman. Well, they do, but the main character of that TV series is Batgirl, Batwoman. I don't know what they're called. But there is a guy, a Bruce Wayne, who was Batman. He's just an old man now, kind of like Batman Beyond, the TV show.
The Batman Beyond version.
Yeah, very similar. So there's an old Bruce Wayne, and he's kind of acting a little bit like a mentor to this person in like one of the crossover things. So again, there's all these Batman running around, and then there's a TV show, takes place in Gotham, has a Batgirl and a Bruce Wayne / Batman who's just totally different, who's like 70. And so Robert Pattinson is a young Batman at 34. There's a 70-year-old Batman running around on TV at the same time. So yeah, we've just decided when it comes to superheroes, doesn't really matter. We'll watch it.
We'll just watch it. And you know what the funniest line, again, back to the three of them in Spider-Man, Garfield, Maguire, Holland, is Andrew Garfield literally just randomly says, "I love you guys." Yes. And then just like, "Thank you." And go out. You had to have one moment.
I don't know if it was true or not. I saw a tweet that said it was from him. I don't know if this was actually him or if someone made it up. It was a fake account that said where it was about how they wanted to bring him back for another Spider-Man. They're like, where was all of this in 2010 or whatever? Where were all these people in 2009? Or I forget when that movie came out, but whenever those movies came out.
The Garfield ones.
Yeah, 2 years after Sam Raimi, which ended in 2008, right?
Yeah, I think it was 11 and 13.
Oh yeah, so where were all you guys in 2011? Is what I saw the tweet said, which is really funny.
A movie's got a movie.
Yeah, movie's got a movie.
Oh man, well Ryan, I think that's it. That's it. We hit it all. Always becoming better people out of it. I hope you have a safe and healthy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you.
However you're celebrating, and we'll see you soon. Thank you again, Ryan.
All right, thanks, Matt.
Ryan Page, everybody.